All right. God bless you. Welcome to the DMV's Vibe podcast. Happy Sunday. I'm Christine.
And after the swagger,
And today we have the beautiful and talented Miss Tanisha Brianna in the studio with us.
welcome.
Hey, hey. So, one, I want to say it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. For all the viewers, I know Miss Tanisha Brianna from high school, and you have been doing poetry since we was in high school. But I want to super congratulations on putting out two books.
Thank
Two
you.
books. Yeah, so I did purchase the second book later that we have here in the studio. Y'all showed me posted last week. The book is amazing. Like you have some really good poems and very talented. But we're gonna hop right in. I'm gonna ask you what made you want to do poetry?
That talent actually comes from my mom. So she's actually like the creative backbone. And I didn't realize that she was that creative until I got older as an adult. So I knew she could draw and I knew she could color and paint a little, but I was being nosy and going through her things one day and I saw this pad. I started flipping through it. I said, since when did my mom have bars? But it really came from growing up in Laurel, from like middle school to high school. I was kind of like one of those laid back, nonchalant type of people, and I didn't know how to really vocalize what I felt. So poetry came naturally. I always wrote down and journaled what I felt before I realized that's what it was. So once I started writing everything down, I would go back and look at it, and I said, "Oh, this is actually kind of dope. Let me keep this and see, how good I could become at it." And then I started picking up dictionaries and sources and expanding my vocabulary, and it just kind of went from there.
Okay. So I dabble in poetry a little bit, but I've never been bold enough to get on the stage or really like read it out loud. Um, I know most times poetry comes from your life experiences, and it was therapeutic for me. I think anytime that I went through something traumatic, that's when I would want to write. But then when my life was going good, I had nothing to write about. like, like it was like super writer's block. Like I can only write about the fucked up shit that happened in my life. But did you experience like with writing a book? Did you experience like writer's block, or how did you go about picking which ones you wanted to be in the book?
I get writer's block all the time. Um, Even still, like how we listen to our favorite songs and favorite artists and music, how like it seems like the best songs come out of heartache. Sometimes you just got to go through it and feel the situation out. But when it came to writing both Naked and Layers, it took me 2 years to write each book. So Naked was written in my 20s, and then Layers came out like exactly after Naked, but I was still going through the writing process in my 30s. So that's why Naked and Layers kind of hit different because I was in two different age groups. And
that different journey. Once you hit 30, it's a whole new journey.
When I wrote Naked, like I was hurt. Like I was working 2 jobs. I had quit a podcast. I was going through a breakup. And I was like, oh my God, like what am I going to do? Like he don't love me no more. I was hurt.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just put all my frustrations and feelings out in Naked. And then that was the journey from me being heartbroken to the forgiveness stage. Because I'm like, in order for me to move on, I really had to forgive this man that hurt my feelings. And me and him talked about it after the fact. So he knows the book is out. And he knows what parts of it are about him. So
that's definitely gonna be a question.
So he knows, he's aware. Matter of fact, he owns both copies. So he knows that it's out there. And then once I did Layers, I said, okay, once I'm going through my healing process and my journey and figuring out who I am, how can I put that to paper now?
So can I ask you, what are like your favorite poets, or has it changed since you written your own book now? Has it changed?
Nope, they haven't changed. I like Nikki Giovanni, Toni Morrison. For the local ones, I love Rashid Copeland. I love him. He is a dope writer. He's a dope person. I'm trying to think. Rudy Francisco, I love him. He's really good. Jasmine Mans, when I say she's raw, like
I've heard her name mentioned, but I haven't had a chance to like really see her work.
Mama has bars. Like she puts me to shame. Like Mama has bars.
So have you performed locally or even or anywhere else in another state, or any of your work?
I have. I've done it twice and I was terrible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I bombed. It's like the first time I got on stage, I was at a poetry slam and didn't realize it. And with poetry slams, like you get judged. So I stuttered, I forgot some of the lines, I was nervous, my voice was shaking, I did really bad, but to put myself in that situation, I said, okay, that's the worst that could happen. So if I get on stage again, it's not that bad.
Well, I know, I think I want to say like around early 2000s, Russell Simmons had the Deaf Poetry Jam. He used to come on HBO. Like, that was one of my favorite shows.
Are you talking about Verses and Flows was good too?
I have seen Verses and Flows, but that Poetry Jam had he had several different rappers on it. I think even DMX was on it one time. So, like, even now, I will go back and watch it on YouTube just because some of the people on there, they were like had some really great poems, but I have never been able to like. Now you watch people perform a poem and they like all into it or they get into character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm like, I just gotta read or I'm gonna forget what the fuck I wrote.
Well, I've spoken to other poets before and they was like, you have to practice. And I was like, well, how do you even practice it? Like, you practice in front of people, you practice in front of the mirror. And I was like, crowds make me nervous.
Yeah, I've only read one poem I wrote a long time ago. As a teacher, when you assign assignments to your students, like I always try to partake in certain assignments. So we had a poetry assignment, so I wrote a poem, and I ended up reading it in front of the kids. But it wasn't long. But then I ended up reading it at a brunch event, like 2 years later.
Yeah, I'm too nervous for that, y'all. Like, I feel like I have one poem that I probably have worked on for probably like over a span of 6 years. Like every time something else happened that I could apply to the poem, I added a new line. Yeah, it never made it off Facebook. But somewhere lost, lost in the world.
In my phone, there is a video of me like saying it, but I couldn't title. It took me a long time to like give it a title. And like the lady was like, "Oh yeah," and like the lady yelled out, and was like, "This is the title of your poem." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna just run with it."
So as we're talking about titles, like how did you come up with the title first or you did the poem first?
I always do the poems first. And then like if the title hits me after, then like cool. If it doesn't, I'm like, okay, I'll let it sit there until a word or a title comes to me that like seems like it fits. I'm like, okay, cool. But I say shout out to the teachers because my English teacher in the 6th grade, Miss Brown, she's the person who got me into poetry. She did a lesson and I was just like, this is it. Like, I don't need nothing else. If I can do this for the rest of my life and get paid for it, like, that's cool.
I can't say mine go back that far. I'm gonna say shout out to the one English teacher I ain't really like, but then she like my favorite, but I ain't like her back then. Miss Walker, when we was at Louisville,
Oh man,
that was my dog. Even though she snitched when we went on the trip, but that was my dog. Like her class was like the funnest class I ever had in high school. 'Cause all the other teachers sucked. But
Well, I think it depends on who you had for what at Laurel, because some teachers were kind of cool, but some people like, I can deal with not having your
Yeah,
class
I
again.
do. Go to Laurel.
the teachers that was not my teacher was their favorite.
That's
Well,
because you should have been in class.
well, see what had happened. See, every time when we talk about Parkdale, I don't remember not being one of my teachers' names. 'Cause I was only there for like 6 months, and according to the school records, I was only there 3. So I don't remember none of them people. I can't say I don't remember the teachers. I remember people's faces, and none of them teachers they didn't help me not one bit.
Well, my 12th grade English teacher was trash. So I don't. Dr. Evans, that was her name. That was, yeah. Her room smelled like slob and mofos.
Ugh.
She's in a trailer outside. You
Oh.
know,
Oh,
Parker don't have trailers no more. They built the whole new addition when we graduated. But
yeah, I never even went outside to the trailers.
That
Man.
sounds gross.
bad breath and slob. Like,
Oh,
hated it, but it was first period. So after first period, I was good to go the rest of the day.
but all the air fresheners they make in the world that she couldn't put not one in there.
Man, her wig used to be sitting on sideways. That lady had a lot going on. A lot. Girl, I don't know, today, but
God bless the teachers that and God bless you if you're a teacher now. I know. I want to say like our class, the class of '06, was like I know we was a rough class, but they kept saying this new generation of kids, they just off the chain.
You know what?
But so do you have a favorite poem in each book?
Um, so in layers, my favorite section is the random musings, and those are all like the one-liners and the poems I couldn't come up with a title for. But I was like, this is still good. I don't want to lose it. So let me just put it in its own section and let it exist as is. And whoever gonna rock with it, they just gonna rock with it.
So I was going through the book and I saw you have one at the very end of your book, and it's titled Laurel. And I was like, so I didn't want to ask you. It wasn't. I'm clearly it's not pertaining to school. It was pertaining to like a love interest, or 'cause that's what the poem hit me as. It was pertaining to like those memories.
It was a close friend and we had a falling out. So it was for him. Basically saying like, although we're not as cool and close as we used to be, is no love lost.
And, man, that take growth. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. To wish somebody well when you fall out with them, it takes
that's my bad life. Because I'm not going to block my blessings being mad at you.
yeah.
Okay.
And it comes back to hey, we done talked every week about healing
Yes.
and reflection.
Carry on, ma'am, sir. I wish you well.
So I did want to ask you so about your cover art because I saw your cover art was very different between book 1 and book 2. What was your inspiration behind your cover art for Layers? Because I know that's very. I understand it went with the title of the book. It's like you open up a new layer and expressing yourself. So what made you say, okay, I'm gonna go for this?
So my photographer, her name is Dion Marie. She's out of Detroit. Me and her were going over ideas for the cover, and she said, "I want to shoot your cover." I said, "Cool." She said, "Well, what are you inspired by?" And at the time, I was like, "I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out." And I said, "Well, if it's layers, it's dealing with flowers, it's dealing with vulnerability." I'm like, a goddess bath. I didn't see anything else more fitting than that, especially with how I feel the world views Black women right now. We're kind of on the bottom of the totem pole. We're always put last. And I felt like putting myself in a goddess bath would put myself in a higher position. It would make me feel better.
Okay. Y'all take notes. It comes back to self-care, and you gotta love yourself first and be able to be vulnerable with yourself before you be vulnerable with everybody else. But
But then I was bold. I was like, putting myself semi naked on the cover, like, who's gonna do that?
I'm gonna tell you who ain't. I Miss Pink is not. I would do something different, but see, that's just because I probably played too much. Because I would have like photoshopped like 8 million things on my body if I was laying naked or something. And it would have been a whole bunch of different people's body parts, like Nikki's left titty or something. It would have been a whole bunch of random shit. Um, so when it came to publishing your first book, what steps did you have to go through in order to get to that point?
So I did a lot of research first, seeing if self-publishing was going to be the way, if trying to get under a publishing company would work, what costs would go into it, how much I'm getting back on royalties. It's a lot you really have to consider and think about that you never really think about. And for me, self-publishing seemed to be the easiest route. What they don't tell you is when it comes to writing books, unless you're already established or extremely known, you will not make any money. You don't make a whole lot of money. You really are going into this because you really love to do it. So everybody think, oh, I'm gonna be an author. I'm gonna get all these things.
Because I'm in the process of writing my own book. So
and it also depends on your audience too, like who you're catering to. So those are a lot of things you have to consider. Like, am I doing this for ages 18 to 25? Is it going to be a self-help? Is it going to be relationships? Is it going to be love? Is it going to be nonfiction? Is it going to be a tell-all? What is it? Because somebody's going to be like, okay, you wrote a book. Well, what is it about? And that's when you have to sell yourself. And if you're not used to selling yourself, you can fall flat.
Man, and I understand that because I have one family member who he's had a lot of success in his businesses. He always puts me on the spot, and I hate it because he always does it when I'm drunk. Like, first of all, don't talk this shit to me while I'm drunk. That's why you're drunk. Right, because I done had like 6 shots now, probably done made everybody else drink. I'm drunk, I'm ready to go home. We can ready to go out the door. And you're gonna ask me if he's like, yeah, so if you met so and so in the elevator and you only had 15 seconds to sell them whatever you wanted to sell them, how would you do it? That's all he got from me.
First of all, would I really be one to talk to? I'm just saying.
I feel that because I tell people I do poetry, they're like, "Spit something right now." What you mean?
Yeah, that on the spot shit. I'm not one of them people.
Yeah, all celebrities ain't ready to go. Say now. They're ready to go all the time.
Think about Sway. When motherfuckers go up there and go to the Sway in the interview and he say drop a freestyle, motherfuckers will be having the worst 8 bars, 16 bars. Like, unless it's somebody who is consistently always in their craft, like I've probably seen like a handful of people that spit some shit that one wasn't already pre-written somewhere else, or they didn't use it in another line. So I think that is like really complicated. So if somebody just walked past you one day and said, "Hey, sell yourself. If you can sell me something in 15 seconds, what would you say? And I'll give you such and such of money." First of all, I'm probably going to start fake singing and rapping because
15 seconds really isn't a long time to sell yourself. You could say good morning in 15 seconds.
Right.
So.
For me, I'm gonna say I'll make a poem out of you and leave it at that. And people's like, "I'll make a poem out of you." Like, all right, write me a poem right now. And I'm like, okay, give me 5 minutes.
Yes, and so speaking of that, so she has merchandise, and she had one of her shirts. I'll make a poem out of you, and I thought that was like one of the dopest shirts. It's about 4 X's that I feel like I should make a poem out of right now. But I know that was the title of one of your poems as well, and so was that pertaining to?
That one, I was purely talking shit. I really was. That was a shit talking moment. I was like, okay, I make a poem out of you niggas. And I once I put that on like Twitter, a couple people had to look at me and DM me like, really, sis? This how you feel? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you gotta treat some of these niggas
Just
out
like
here.
that. It's like these people's sons.
Yeah, damn, but like I think that's probably one of my favorite things we should post. That merchandise. I'll make a poem out of it. 'Cause I feel like it's a sub, but it's still like not all the way disrespectful. It's disrespectfully respectful.
But it's a conversation starter because they're like, well, what you mean? I'm like, okay, well, if you're interested in this, I sell books, I have merch. What you need, what you got? I can give you the website, what you need.
And I'm sorry, my mind just went 8 million places real quick. So, do you have like a consistent or a common theme of the way that you write, or you just freestyle everything?
I freestyle everything. And I have to write it down because if I don't, it's gone. There's like an idea. If you do not write it down, it's gone. And I'll sit there until I can get to a place to write it down, and I'll repeat like whatever lines I have in my head. I usually keep like 2 to 3 lines, and I'll keep repeating it until I can get somewhere where I can hurry up and write it down. And then if I can come back to it later and finish it, it's finished.
So, when it comes to your writing, have you ever thought about like expanding it further? Because most people who can write poetry can write music.
I don't think I have that talent yet, but I've considered it.
I mean, I'm not saying I think it's possible. I think somebody could take any poem that you have and could probably turn it into a song. But I think that would be a different avenue. Like, I don't think I have that talent to write nobody's song. I give you a hot hook or something and be a hot hook, and that's all I'm good for.
Like I can read sheet music, but like trying to change it into making sure it hits certain notes, singing wise, I ain't got that talent.
Oh yeah, I definitely can't. Don't ask me to hit no high notes, no nothing. I can fake a note with a song that comes from the radio.
I mean, I can harmonize in the background for you. That's all I got.
I'm a do I pop girl. Yes, I sang for Jesus with the praise and worship team, but I'm in the background.
I can't believe you said I sang in the background.
Look, I'm not mad at her.
So when it comes to like having supportive people around you, was it all family and friends, or did you have people who were like hesitant in the beginning? Like, how did you deal with surrounding yourself with the right people when it came to doing what you wanted to do?
When it comes to my tribe and my family, like they're all extremely supportive. And I think that's because they seen me writing in the early stages. So it's like, okay, you want to do a book? Like we kind of figured you won't go this route eventually. They was just like, we was just waiting on one. I was like, well, dang, like, yeah, I ain't had to put me on Front Street like that. Because I have a friend who's really close, and he's been trying to push me to write a book 4 years. And I kept pushing off of like one day, one day, one day. I do it one day, just not today. And then one day finally hit, and I was like, well, dang, he was right. I should have been did this. So let me get off my ass and just go ahead and put it together and see what I need to actually formulate it into something I want.
Um, do you think social media has helped or hindered like literary arts when it comes to people being able to express themselves? Because they say that a lot of the black folk don't read.
First of all my black folks that I know read. But I think it's helped because you get to be seen in areas that you don't necessarily travel to, especially with COVID happening right now. Everybody's online. You're exposed to everything. You're seeing everything on the timeline. The way the algorithm is set up is dumb because you think you're going to see something new and it's something that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know why. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know what they got going on over there on the Instagram side. Because I'm tired of seeing people post out of order. Because you ever see somebody post something and then you're like, what the hell are they talking about? And then when you see the other post later, it's like, oh, okay.
And you miss it unless you like.
Or flashback Friday on Sunday. Make it make sense.
Yeah, like unless you like choose to follow the person's notifications.
Yeah.
We miss everything.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why can't we go back to originally when Instagram was set up and everything was in order?
Who's y'all PR people?
Yeah.
Them.
Because I'm
Mark Zuckerberg. I got questions.
Facebook is the same
and
way.
Instagram has become the same way. Like, I guess after I seen all the most recent posts, it went back to 4 days ago and like reset. Like, first of all, I don't care what Jennifer said 4 days ago. I want to see what happened today. I want to be nosy in everybody's business today.
Right. And bare minimum yesterday.
Right. This algorithm is fucked up.
It's stupid.
It is.
The one thing that I did learn to do because the algorithm is so jacked up is I just started paying for promo on fucking Instagram and Facebook because people be like, well, I didn't even know she posted it. Hey, look, you probably won't see the ad. You keep scrolling and talking about it while your phone is out. You're going to see the ad real soon.
Between those and hashtags, I'm still figuring out hashtags.
Right. It's so many people hashtag anything now. So at this point, you can just start your own way.
Yeah, you just
I hashtag myself like so. Prior to me having the DMV vibe, it was just vibe with Miss Pink, and so now it's probably I got like 100 something posts that just say hashtag vibe with Pink, and I was like, damn, that ain't gonna go to waste.
but that's how you get your exposure too. Like
Mhm.
you just be putting all these different hashtags and then people because people actually follow hashtags.
They do.
Yeah.
So when
And you can
I-
search by
I hate
hashtags
that.
now.
yeah, when you put those hashtags up and then like that's how you get your followers up, you get whatever. So I be putting certain hashtags all the time, depending on what I'm posting. So, okay. And then I pop up at an explore page or something like that.
Mhm. And then in my promos, I put like other cities and areas, so I pop up in their area.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's good to know. I'm gonna start doing that too because these local people. Say no. But I popped up on the explore page one time.
Locals.
I popped up on the explore page one time and I shocked my damn self. Like somebody sent it to me. I was like, oh, shout out the page for following. I didn't see it, but thank you. That's just something that I never imagined because it was just a regular ass post. There was nothing important in the post. I ain't have no jokes, no punchlines. It just said tune in because Pretty Packer Auto Club was coming. I was like, damn, this damn post has 600 views. Okay.
And it's crazy because most of my listener base or like followership isn't even here. It's in Texas.
Hey, shout out to Texas. Okay, Texas. That's my second home.
I love it there. Like if I could move anywhere outside of here,
Listen,
either there or North
Frisco,
Carolina.
Dallas.
I love Dallas.
We know why you want to go to Dallas.
Don't. I've been to Dallas. And I've been to Jerrysburg.
I can see you living in Dallas.
I would
With stars everywhere.
You must be a Cowboy fan.
I sure am. Die-hard Cowboys fan.
I ain't even gonna throw no punchline. She came for me so hard and threw me under the bus one time. Like, this is my team, we fly, as we are. Eagles fly. Oh, my bad. I know you're a Redskins fan.
Oh, the team's no name.
That's fine.
Oh shit,
That's fine.
They not the Redskins.
They are the Washington football team.
And we did better once we got that name change.
Check me out on Thanksgiving. I'll be in Dallas.
I got quarterback doing now.
Don't come for that. Don't come for Dakota. He is doing just fine. His ankle is okay.
His name Dakota?
Yes, his
No,
name
don't
is
say that.
Dakota Rain. Come on, y'all know his mother was of a different persuasion.
Clearly, because the only time I think of I'm person I know named Dakota.
Fanning.
Yeah, I'm thinking Fanning.
The girl from she's an amazing actress.
I remember her from Hide and Seek. That movie was good.
Yeah, so that's why he goes by Dak. Don't come for him.
Well, Dad, I'll tell you that she's definitely gonna have your back, okay?
I sure do.
Whether she lives here or in
Texas. At this point, I might as well pack up and move to Texas. Ain't nothing keeping me here. But my family.
That power grid is something else.
Yeah, but I'm a big advocate for people moving out of their hometown. Because I did, and I wish I had did it sooner. I felt like I dragged my feet with it for a long time. And then most of your supporters, well, from my experience, most of my supporters have been people that I don't even talk to on a regular basis. And that is like extra motivation. It's like, yeah, my friends every once in a while might tune in or shout me out. But when you can reach other people that you wouldn't talk to on a regular basis, it's like that extra kick. So have you experienced that?
All the time. And before COVID, I was doing a lot of networking. So I was going to different podcast events to support my friends, but also get my name out there. So, and then it was like a little mini staycation. So I was like, okay, this is a triple whammy for me. I get to get my name out there, pass out some information, support a friend, get out the house.
So you said a key word, and this is going to be something that we talk about in the future episodes is networking. We're going to talk about it now more. And I think people don't understand the power of networking because even though social media is always big and is jumping, word of mouth is going to always be the biggest thing.
Right.
And the power and connections of people is on a whole different level. Like I have a godmother, I swear I could call her and say like 50 different topics. She's gonna give me a contact person I can talk to for each one of the damn topics because she's just like so well versed and she's always into networking. So when it comes to you and networking, what type of environment do you meet people in, like the conversations that spark you?
Most recently, in the past couple of years, it's mostly been podcasting, but you always find someone else in that creative space that does something different. So you might meet somebody that's into doing merch. You might meet somebody that's into doing engineering and editing for podcasting, but necessarily doesn't want a podcast.
I wish
So
I found somebody to do that. Oh,
then you with some podcasters that you meet, you run into people that's been doing it for years, run into people that are rookies. So because I did podcasting before, I had people that would come to me and ask me questions. I was like, okay, ask me all the questions you want. I can give you free game because it don't affect me. And I can tell you, make sure you know who your audience is, make sure your sound quality is good. Because those are the top two things that can take you from here or down here.
I'm so hip because I'm saying when I was solo and I first started doing it, first of all, I had an old ass laptop. And so the first episode, if y'all ever look at my YouTube channel, you see that first episode, it was grainy, we was drunk, we was high, and the sound quality was trash. And then like even at the beginning of the pandemic when everything was closed and I was still like, okay, I want to be focused and get back into it. I realized the iPhone was not my friend. When it came to look, iPhone was not.
But people shooting out videos on their iPhone.
Yeah, maybe my screen was dirty. I don't know. It wasn't the clarity that I wanted. And so
That's a part of the growing pain, though. That's a part of the process of figuring it out. Some people don't make it past that stage. They're like, okay, this was really bad because I didn't have the success I wanted. I'm gonna go ahead and fall out.
yeah.
So we're gonna have to do 200 episodes before we get famous. Okay, that's just what it is.
I don't care if you take 500 episodes because at this point I'm so focused and then like just how much that we continually grow each week and then people who reach out and want to come on the show. First of all, I just want to say thank y'all because I'm sorry I can't pay none of y'all. I appreciate y'all coming on the show always. But like my biggest thing, so a lot of people don't know that my nickname Pink is actually an acronym for Positive Influences Through Networking and Knowledge. And so that was one of the big things I wanted to use because I'm always in a different environment of people. And then I realized that I had so many people around me who had businesses or they just had side hustles. And I was like, you know what? The only thing I can do is I can give y'all jokes. I can talk like a motherfucker, give y'all jokes. So I can support y'all by saying y'all names. But that's why I felt like having a platform and using it the right way to just be supportive of other, I want to say Black people first, but of people, period. I feel like if we're just supportive and receiving of other people's views, we will make it a lot further.
Right.
I think when we talk about certain topics, a lot of people get defensive, and we have to understand that everybody has different life experiences, come from different backgrounds. So being able to respectfully disagree with people is highly important. Um, so we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna play this song. It is by Creative Minds. They just dropped their album over the weekend, and they will be a future guest on the show coming up. I believe that date is July 18th.
Shout out to my brother Polo T.
Yeah, so I'm definitely excited. So we're gonna let y'all get into their music. I'm gonna play at least two songs off their album. I definitely I wish I would have my show. It is posted, but I had some.
Girl, I was drinking enough this whole I was on Bel Air all yesterday.
But it's a mic. Um, so we're gonna move so I mean you don't have to get like super detailed. So we were talking about so we don't have to pause no social media today because
On the music, not gonna be no haters.
we're not gonna be attacked.
Because of the original music.
Wanna be hating.
They told me up on Instagram and on
Did they? Wow.
But it was like a month after I had posted it.
That's wild. That's stupid.
And even when you put like I don't own the right to
I gotta chill out.
right.
They're like, no, no, no.
And it's more than the only one that
I went to attack. And the only one that attacked.
Yes. And, you know, while they doing that,
Oh, shit. A little bit too much tequila.
I ain't trying to be dancing with Jose. I'm just trying to say yes.
Lord. I think it might be harder this time than it was last time.
And then shout out to Polo T.
I'm gonna be high turn.
That's why I tried to slow down. I need to like reset.
It was 90 when I left out the house. I said, nah, I'm good on that.
Well, this side is just talking about my family and my oh, thank you. Oh, I do see. Well, I ain't think I'm gonna go here.
Yeah, get somebody.
Oh, yeah. So, Deuce was gonna come. I think
Yeah, 'cause you know
we should have a callback box. Oh, it's a big girl.
Oh, man. Taster? How about you say it's tricky?
Yeah.
Girls' night.
It's probably one of the best episodes. Yeah. I went home to cry.
Real raw.
It must have been some wild stuff.
Shout out to Ty. Ty, I don't know if you're in here right now, but Ty did that show hilarious.
That's gonna be the quote of the whole season 1 of podcast. No, it's just, I love the season. Like you ain't getting that.
I might be mad at you, but I ain't mad at you.
So look, my mind man. That's real power out of the cat.
Okay, Polo T, I see you in these streets you ain't watching, but I'ma still shout you out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at something. Oh, that like, yeah. That's the sound one. I feel like I'm still like review.
You in the car, come on. I think you can really speak on my radio.
More than that.
Everything I did over 2 months ago.
That's mine.
I'm announcing what I'm doing. Then we just gonna talk about like dating and Amen. I like to get people's perspective. Like we talk about it all the time.
When I pop out, yeah, my own. I'm not dating. I'm taking myself out there.
I'm doing long distance. I think it's a lot of things. Yeah, we good. Feel certain way.
So you taking myself out there, yeah.
It's like red flag, positive note. Nope. Stop right now. Stop. Time to second.
Dating here is just
The headache. I love it for you. Craziness is everywhere. I can imagine. I got to learn to date in Chicago.
house and dog music. Thank you. Like a actual
I was gonna say, you got
and chocolate egg. Okay, you enjoy the chocolate egg. Until further notice.
I didn't know you knew Polo. She thought you knew that. My hair is behaving right now. Because I straightened it and I'm natural and I'm like, I just straightened it because of this wig. That's it.
That was Creative Minds. They just released their album 301. That was not the first time that I've heard it. They have a lot of nice tracks on the album. It is all out on all platforms. So please go and download it, listen to it, replay it, share it, do whatever you got to do. They will be in the studio on July 18th. So everybody who's seen my social media, I said I had an announcement. So we'll be doing a raffle. You'll be able to purchase the raffle tickets starting next Monday. That is Memorial Day. And the raffle tickets will be $15. First pick winner is going to win a Invicta, a Rose Gold Invicta watch. It is for a lady. So fellas, if you have a girlfriend and you want to try and win something for them, or if it's a side chick, I don't really care who it's for.
Gotcha.
But the raffle tickets will be $15. This is a watch that is priced at $260. So I mean, you
Oh,
know,
y'all get them all.
it's a super deal. It's a super deal. Second place will get a $50 gift card. I will be posting how you can purchase the raffle tickets, and you'll be able to purchase the ticket for 3 weeks. On June the 20th, no, that's not the right day. Yes, it is the right day. June 20th, on Father's Day, the Father's Day episode will announce who the winners are. So if you're interested in getting tickets, you can reach out to me. Or if you're swagger on Instagram or Facebook, however you can get in contact with us, you know. Yes. So, while we have Miss Tanisha Brown in here, we said, since she's such a talented poet, we wanted to talk about dating because you have your merchandise out, make a poem out of you. So we just wanted to ask a couple of questions. As far as like dating in our generation and what has been the hardest thing you think within our generation about dating or just finding people that you would want to date?
Communication and consistency.
Oh, word.
And I'm gonna throw in the word comprehension.
Oh, yes.
Because that comprehension, they can communicate consistently,
can't
but are
comprehend
they
what you
comprehending what you saying?
Not just that, but they'll, go ahead and hit you with a cute good morning text and then won't hit you up for like a month. And I was like, I thought we were doing good. Like, what happened, beloved? Like,
Child, they still on that same morning.
It's I really don't mean to ghost you. Bye.
So I'm telling you, at the level, where I'm at now in life, if you ghost me, you are ghost for the rest of your life, according to me. Because nigga, you died and went invisible, so everything you send me will now be invisible as well.
not invisible ink.
Yep, it's invisible ink. Hallelujah, God bless you, wherever you are, but you're not in the world that I live in. Because I ain't got time for people to do that. Like if it's not gonna work out, just say that. Somebody else came back around and said, I'm a big person on honesty, and my brother gets on me about this all the time. You be giving people honesty, and they don't even need to know all the shit that you be saying. Because it ain't no miscommunication, misunderstanding, no none of that shit.
Right.
Wherever I'm at in life, I'm gonna let it be known.
But why is it so hard to just say what it is? I don't understand. that
Fellas,
part.
this is the question.
Yeah, this is a question for the men. Why is it so hard to say what it is? Or why do we have to say something to make you feel like to, I guess, provoke you?
Let me
Or
tell you, toxic nigga favorite line. Ain't asked, so I ain't tell.
You know what it was.
Like, first of all, you almost made me turn into Kendra from Kendra to fucking Kendra. Because what the fuck you mean? I didn't ask. Motherfucker, first, that was pertinent information. What you talking about? But like, that's how I like dating now is just too complicated for me. I find myself just having like, we talk like I got Tourette's or something. Like, what the fuck? Oh, my bad. Sorry. Because some shit just don't add up to me. Why people move like that. And social media is one of the hardest things, I think, for our generation when it comes to dating, because it's like easy access to everything.
Mhm.
And it can really play on like, so there's some people who have like minor insecurities, and when their partner is double tapping on
Sound
half naked people,
like the way my
they
nigga.
take
Right.
they
That's none of my
take it
business.
very personal.
That's not my business.
But there are a lot of people who like they are insecure, and so social media definitely brings out those insecurities.
But that's also a conversation you need to have with your partner.
Absolutely.
But you know, a lot of people are not gonna bring out their insecurities because you bringing out your insecurities is a moment of you being vulnerable.
But what's the
And
point
people
of having?
struggle with being vulnerable.
But some people, I believe, not only the insecurity, some people have that like PTSD when it comes to voicing how they feel in relationships, because they feel like
they
want to change.
feelings and emotions, but I know. Oh, you catching feelings? I'm catching feelings. Got it. Like I used to run from all that. Now it's a little bit different. Now I assert myself, say how I feel. If you don't feel the same way, I'm at the point in my life where I don't get mad at anybody else. So you like, you know, I like you, but I don't feel this way, or I'm not ready for a relationship. Oh, okay, cool. Like I ain't be mad at you. I'm be mad at myself because that's just me processing my emotions. But I ain't even gonna be mad at that situation. And I think that's another thing that in dating you can't be mad at your partner's feelings or the person that you're dealing with feelings because those are their feelings. Like you can't get mad because they don't feel the way you would like them to necessarily feel.
Mhm.
So it's like you can't get mad at that. Like you may be frustrated because it's not what you want to hear, but like you just gotta accept it and work with it.
The biggest advice I have, ladies, is if you get invited to um whoever's cookout with their family or friends and whatnot, just know that that does not make you number one, the girlfriend, the main. It don't make you none of the
These
above.
families will be upholding these men and their foolishness. They will know for a fact that you're not the girlfriend, you're not the one or the two. But they still, hey girl, come back in your face, knowing that he about to drop you off and go pick up his real girlfriend. But I'm just saying.
You ever been to a cookout and somebody introduced you to something and you just be stuck like, what?
Oh no.
That's not what we discussed.
If I'm walking into a cookout, I already know who I am and what I am.
Because like somebody caught me off guard when they was like, well, this my lady, your lady. Who? My lady, like across the pond, my lady.
My lady.
Nigga, we did not discuss that. What are you talking? We are friends, associates, barely.
But I've had situations where be like, this is my girl. Wait a minute, when did I become your girl? I wasn't your girl on the ride here.
Listen,
I'm your girlfriend.
if there ain't no discussion,
Make it make sense.
So I got a question. Do you think that relationships now are failing because people don't know how to date?
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
We don't court anymore. It's you trying to chill, oh you come out, you spend a night.
And if we on that, say that on, but so I can make the decision on whether or not I want to entertain it. That's all I
Let me know, because I can definitely help you with no feelings and emotions. Trust me, did it for 5 years.
So, I think somebody else had a post about this within the last week about something about cooking, cook for whoever you're trying to date or some shit like that. I was like, shit, you better court me, motherfucking at least 30 days before I cook for you. Then that turns into a nigga wanting to eat your home cooked meal every goddamn day. Are you gonna come clean my house too? Gonna put the groceries over this motherfucker? I'm not cooking for your ass every time, no. Because I feel like if you cook for somebody too early in a relationship, they get comfortable.
But I think that also depends.
It
I
depends
had
on the
business
person.
with me, but I wasn't like, oh, this is my man. I was like, oh no, the food good. You cook for me again, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gotta be my dude to make me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I used to be like that. It was only like a handful of people that knew I knew how to cook.
Yeah, I did that in college.
Like it's one thing I like.
You got turned down.
Don't call me and ask me to cook for you or come to my house and expect the meal. Like, Miss Pink, don't like cooking every day, though. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do when I have a kid. Cause like I done lived that life where I had to cook meals every day, being a stepmom. And I ain't about that life no more.
I'm about that meal prepping life because that's what I did when I first started my weight loss journey. Oh yeah, on Sundays, sis was in the kitchen cooking 3 meals at one time.
So again, Miss Pink is not about that. I'm not about that life right now. I don't know. Maybe it'll change when I start dating again.
Maybe the right one that you can like, okay,
If I could, you better fucking clean.
clean that bitch.
Man, that is just too much work. To cook and clean on a weekday after you have worked, I don't give a fuck that I'm celebrating.
That's why I meal prep. Oh, let me pop this in the microwave and go on with the rest of my life.
Look, I cook because I be hungry. If you happen to be over there, I'm gonna ask you, do you want a plate? That's it. That's the most you get out of me. But that's because I do that with anyone that I invite into my space. But then again, I'm real selective about who I invite in my space.
Yeah, I like to be about myself. So
If you don't make my space a continuous happy space while you're there, like if you fuck up the energy,
you gotta go.
you'll no longer be alive. Like first time, okay, you might be a little off today. But if it happens again, maybe your time is up.
Don't bring no bad juju to my house.
It's enough bad juju's in my house. I mean, it's not bad juju. I'm just saying. I'm not a person who likes to be home a lot. I'm a person who likes to be on the go. But
Home me, please.
because of certain things going on, I got you. Because of certain things going on, I have to be home more than I'm usually home. So this has been the hardest. What's this? This is May. So the hardest 4 months of my life of having to be home like 80% of the time.
Well, COVID had us home. So
I didn't give a fuck about COVID. When everybody supposed to stay home, you know what Kendra was? In our goddamn car, going for a drive. Kendra, where you at? Oh, I am in Virginia Beach today. I might be in Delaware tomorrow. Like I was gone. I'm not a person who can sit still like that. But I feel like it started messing with my mental health. When I feel like I'm confined somewhere for too long,
which is probably 99.9% of America, which is why everybody could wait to
but see, other
be
people,
outside.
but see, they want to be outside. I was the person when I was fine just going for a drive in my car, just being outside of the four walls of my house.
Yeah, because I definitely back in February definitely went to the hotel room for the weekend, and I was just like, I just don't want to be in this hole. And I literally stayed in the hotel room and did not leave from Friday to Sunday. I parked my car and I didn't go nowhere.
It's just the change of scenery, and yeah, I don't know how some people do it. Like I wouldn't be a good, I wouldn't be a good person, a good prison mate or anything. But I lose my marbles in that month.
Well, we drive our prisoners insane anyway. That's why they come out and do stuff and go right back. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh yeah. But okay, so that also is why we on this topic of inmates. So reform. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So with people who have felonies on their background but have come out and been productive with their life and been able to overcome that struggle, I'm gonna have a special episode with y'all because I do have two people in my close circle that that I do want to celebrate one because now they've been home for like 2 to 3 years and they're just like prospering well. They're doing better than half the motherfuckers sitting at home and collecting unemployment checks and fraud and scams. Shit.
Amen.
Them PPP. Oh, because the IRS is coming.
Hey, if baby
for
do
y'all.
going to jail, y'all motherfuckers going to jail.
Because y'all have to show how you put that money back into your company. And
half of y'all ain't got
most of y'all ain't had no companies or made up some shit. So
Baby.
therefore, just know you're going to do that. That's what I'm saying.
So we've had this, we talked about this when I had my dad on the show about, so if you watch like your parents' dynamic or older people in your family's relationship dynamic, what things did you take away from that and want to apply when it comes to dating or finding a partner?
The biggest one was vulnerability. Watching my grandparents when I was growing up, like they were always vulnerable with each other, and it was a beautiful thing. Like they were two totally different people. My grandmother was a Libra, hard as nails, like gay tall, but a tough cookie, cuss like a sailor, all that. My grandfather, though, he was sweet, he was kind, nurturing, didn't cuss, didn't drink. Well, he did drink, but he didn't cuss. Went to church every Sunday,
Praise the Lord.
and he was a Cancer. And I'm like, how you worked it out?
Cancer, but I know she's going
Yes.
to cancer.
I can't do that.
And they were married for like over 60 years. I had like 11 kids, and out of those 11 kids had 7 twins. They made it work, and they were raising grandkids and great grandkids. And I was just like, bruh, like if any marriage were to happen for me, I wanted like that, somebody that I can be my whole self with, no matter what. And he just loved me like that. Like he loved that woman. Like she got sick, he was there right next to her, taking care of her, making sure she ate, making sure she was bathed, all that. Like
And I want to say that's something that's rare because from what I have seen, most of the time it's the male partner
mhm,
that gets sick first, and it's usually the wife taking care of them. And so to see that dynamic would, I think that would change the perspective on for a lot of people.
mhm. But he was there day in and day out. When we had to move into a nursing home, he was there as often as he could be. And I was just like, wow, like he really loved her. And to see like a love that pure and have it like translate to other people in the family like that, I said, wow, like if I build a family, I kind of want that. And it wasn't like, no gender roles, like he washed dishes, he cooked.
That's what I'm saying. I need a man that's domestic. Like
He
I
can
don't
take
want
out
it
the
to be
trash.
like only, I only wash dishes, I only cook. Like I want us to work together.
Right. But wash them dishes. Like I don't care if we got a goddamn dishwasher. I need you to make sure that it ain't no food left on them damn dishes before you put it in there. For real, like I don't know. I was raised differently. Y'all probably got a little bit of PTSD with that. Cause my mom made me wash dishes just to put them in the dishwasher
The
and wash them
same,
again.
the same. But then like with my mom, I saw her dynamic with my dad. And then when she got married to her husband at the time, and then they're divorced. So I seen her go through the whole aspect to where she's like, okay, I had a baby, I fell in love and had my nose wide open. I'm divorced. I don't want to have my nose wide open anymore because she's kind of at that age where she's kind of over it. But
Yes, yes, I understand. Over to.
but she's not bitter about it.
Mhm.
She kind of just like, it is what it is. Like, I can have my little boyfriend here and there, but I still like my space. So I'm like, okay, it's multifaceted. You got to figure out what works for you. 'Cause just because you see an example of something good or something bad, that don't mean what they went through is for you. You just take the lessons from it and figure out, okay, is this going to be what works for me?
Yeah, like I got called weird because I'm not the type of female that likes to be smothered. So like, give me my space. Go with your homeboys. Go hang with your friends.
I'm a big advocate for that
Like,
because
bye.
I think
see you when you get back.
people,
You know what I'm saying?
people don't understand that just because you enter into a relationship and that you become one, we don't go every goddamn way together.
Hell, I don't care how much we love.
Right, we don't do everything together because we're still two separate individuals. And I think Will Smith said this shit the best when he was talking about my happiness or his partner's happiness is not his responsibility. It's not. You need to make yourself happy and come together and share it. But so we got asked a question from Mr. Cool. It's saying, so y'all ain't making plates at the cookout for y'all partner?
I mean, me personally, I would because I know the type of partner I'm going to deal with or reciprocate.
It depends who cookout it is, how long we've been together. Because if it's like within the first couple times and we're just dating, okay. But if we're like married and we at your family cookout, you want me to fix it?
This is
Do we got kids?
This is a question that
It's got a lot of parts to it.
that was brought up before. So the young adults ministry was done, and like this is a question. Like this is a heated question, and for me, like I guess it really depends on the relationship dynamic. If I'm going as your friend, I'm not making nothing. You gonna get in this line with me and you gonna make your own plate. Now if you my man, okay, yeah, I'll make your plate, but like you said, it's reciprocation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know, okay, he gonna make my plate, so I'm gonna make his plate. I don't mind doing that. But I'm just not gonna just be making plates and you taking me as if you introduce me, oh no, this my friend. Okay, well then this friend not making your plate, so get in this line with me and you can make your own plate. Okay.
But what if I'm already up, right? And I just happen to ask you if you want something.
Okay, you want a soda or something? You already got a plate.
and I'm already up
You
and I'm already moving
thirsty?
around.
I'm not making two plates. Okay, I'll make a plate for my mama.
Because I got homeboys who, like, if I go over their house, I can fully and able to get up and make my own plate, and they'll make a plate and bring it to me.
Okay, yeah, like my friend, like he's made my plate before. You know what I'm saying?
But I got homeboys
You
that,
said that word.
Yeah, that's my friend.
but I have homeboys that do that like every time I'm over
I
there.
don't got homeboys that. Now I got homeboys that pay for me every time we go out.
And I got homegirls that do the same. Like if I'm over their house,
No, my friends be like, you ain't no gas no more, so you make your own plate.
Y'all too far in the trenches. The only time that so let me go back. So when I was in a relationship and me and my partner went to the family reunion and then it was time to make plates and everything. So first of all, he gave me the eye and I was looking at this motherfucker like, nigga, I already had you, calm down. But I think let me offer that for you first before you
Don't have that expectation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm automatically going to stand in this line.
because when I'm with your family, it's like, oh, don't be shy. Come on. First of all, this is your family. That's how I was looking like. This is your family. You gonna make the plate or not? But now that you with my family, you gonna cut your eye and shit. First of all, nigga.
Oh
Okay,
no,
I
but
love
my
my
family gonna be like, no, come on up here, come get whatever you want to
Ooh,
get.
somebody said divine friend. That's a cool thing.
You ask so many questions, bro. You in my
Ooh. So I think that the conversation when you come on the 13th, the conversation is gonna be spicy.
now if I say friend, that's just like platonic, like straight friend. If I say partner or somebody I'm dealing with, that's something different. I'm real
somebody I'm
specific.
dealing with, we friends.
No, I'm real specific. If I'm smashing them, I'm smashing them. I'm specific.
You in my business. Don't do that.
I ain't confirming or denying whether I'm smashing somebody or not unless it's somebody else that I'm entertaining. That's the only other person that can ask that question. Like, oh, okay. So is y'all like together or y'all like together? Like, no, we like smashing the fuck you up. Like, I'm not gonna be out here doing that. I just can't do that.
But you're still
Hey, she tried whispering. She said, mind your
mind
business.
your business.
If you
So
sound like a good one, you wouldn't hesitate. Oh,
it's a shame for me. It's called in my business. So somebody on my live said that you gotta make the plate if I'm that's the wrong guest. If I'm the guest at your event. Why? You can't stand in line with me.
she basically just said, spell it right.
Sorry, that's the teacher in me, sorry. You can stand in line. What's wrong with that? Why can't we stand together in the line? What's wrong with that? Why is making the plate such a big deal?
So this is what I'm gonna tell going forward for the future people who would like to date me. Hey, we're gonna have a conversation before we get out the car.
Right. We need to talk about this.
Dog, she can't see your comments.
Gotta be nice.
No, I didn't already say, look, you gonna make her come over here and see the comment, but I didn't say most of it out loud. So, if we were still talking about dating, have you ever dated someone with a different religion or belief from you?
That's a good question.
I'm scared.
I guess you would say I would be the one that would be on that line because I'm like, I respect all religions, but I'm not really like I can't call myself a whole Christian. If that makes sense.
I sound more spiritual than I am religious.
Right. You know what? I talked to a guy that was Muslim before for a hot second.
Okay, this probably gonna sound ignorant, but I'm just saying anyway. The reason why I can't make nobody that's a Muslim, because if I have to wear all that stuff that covers me, I will always have an attitude. I don't like being hot.
Well, that's why Cassius Clay, aka Mom Ali, that's why his first wife left him because she didn't want to convert to Islam. So that's why she.
I just could not. First of all, bacon.
I
is
like
life.
pepperoni, so
Bacon is
First of all, you
life.
can't have pepperoni, you can't have gummy bears, you can't have Jello, you can't have Cheetos, you can't have Doritos, you can't have white sugar.
Well, they lost me at cover up anyway because when it's hot outside, when it's hot
but you know
outside.
they said it's not really hot.
I think it's like whatever.
Listen, shout out to the lady that I seen working out in FedEx Field with all that. Like, this is getting in. She was
No,
looking at
ma'am.
stuff for everything.
A lot of the ones I seen, it looked like it's kind of light.
Yeah, they said
It,
it's not
it
hot.
can be light, but I'm saying, but they have clothes on under that.
Yeah,
They're
but
not just out here
purpose,
just spray ball.
I can't.
That would have been me.
I like
That would be me because I'm always.
But yeah, you know.
It would have been like a
No
maxi dress
disrespect
or
to
something.
anybody's religion, but that's just not. That's not it for me. That's not it.
And then like I always wonder like so Jehovah's Witness is one of them I could never on my list just because I like to celebrate my birthday, other people's birthday.
Yeah, they don't celebrate no holiday.
Yeah, they don't.
And I always would have a joke for them because my
And only
family talks about
144,000 of y'all want to have it.
I mean my family jokes about how we used to treat Jehovah's Witness when they used to come knock on the door. Like I'm serious, like that's the jokes that we used to have. Like my family is probably ignorant. So if you ever get invited to a family function, I'm gonna just say bring a drink. You already be welcome with open arms. And then you gotta get ready to put some ignorant shit. 'Cause some people in that family they just say not too tight. So for me, dating has always well, it's been since I've been of the age that I would really consider it dating. I've always only found or dated people who already had children. And I feel like at this point in life, everybody has kids.
That mommy me at this point.
I don't want to say that, but I know to find someone who don't have kids now would be the last of the Mohicans.
They're definitely uniforms.
Yeah, I get called a unicorn a lot.
Yeah, I get called a unicorn as well. I've actually had like, well, what's wrong with you?
I've heard that. I've
Well,
got that
that's
too.
not wrong with me because I didn't have nobody check. Why can't be just I protect myself and I'm not letting anything and everything shoot in my club and
That
do
part.
what I'm supposed to do? And like, why can't it be that?
Why can't I decide I want to be the bougie auntie?
Hello? Well, that's gonna be me, the bougie cousin slash
I
auntie.
don't think people understand how rude that question is. Though.
That's
I got
it.
asked that yesterday though, when I was gonna start a family by one of my uncles.
And it's like, if I didn't disclose
That's a generational thing.
all my health shit with you, and you don't know what I've been through. Just because you might not have known, you don't know. I could have been pregnant one time, lost a child,
Right, and some people can't have kids.
and they're not willing to discuss that with their whole fucking
Entire
family.
family. But that's definitely a generational thing because I remember at one of my family meetings on my dad's side, my cousin was like, your generation, y'all just don't like to get married, huh? I was like, what?
Who was y'all?
Like, who's y'all? Like, I would, if it's in the cost me, yes. But like, I'm not in a rush to get married. And I feel like because of that generation, like, if you weren't married by like 30 and had kids, like, you was going to be an old maid or old
Or
whatever.
cat lady and shit.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like women now are different because as far as we have more educational opportunities, we work, we have better job opportunities. So yeah, so some of us are wanting to be in our career. Like I have things I want to do before I even entertain wanting to have a kid. So if I have a kid, great. I mean, like Doug said, Mr. Perspective calls me fertile swagger because my grandma had her last child at 45 and my mom had me at 38. So if it's not the cards for me to have a child, it's the cards.
But
That ain't right that right now. Like,
yeah, I think like if somebody was asking today, do you want to go make a child? I look at them like they're fucking crazy. And I think people get confused. Me saying I want a child does not mean, oh, I'm ready to go make one right now. Because one, most of the time, most of the people who ask you those questions, they don't even know you well enough if they should be procreating with you.
then they not even in a financial situation themselves or position where they can help you actually raise a child. So what are we doing here?
So I was never sound effect. Clap fucking time. Because listen, I don't care how well I make anything look when I go outside and I'm fucking partying or whatever, whoever I'm hanging out with. I am in no financial shape to add another child,
Listen,
another being into my household.
so
I feel like I don't even have enough time for myself right now. So let alone if you want me to be carrying another one right now
I can't afford a broke best friend right now.
at all because I already it's like five of them. I got nieces, nephews, god kids, and
well, I only got one child. I'm just not where I want to be personally, and then of course I would have to meet someone that I want to procreate with. And we would have to be in a well-established relationship, marriage, all, commitment, all those things. Before I have a kid, like I'm not about just out here just popping out
you
here.
see how my dad looked when he was up here, like he was ready to be a grandfather. Sir, you can't even stay up and watch a whole basketball game. You want to be a grandfather? Who is going to babysit? Hello? Who's going to babysit?
And that's the thing, like,
It has changed now. First it was, oh, you want us to be married before we have sex and all this.
no, my
y'all
mom be like, so when you have never, wait,
now just get the fuck the family now.
what
Just
happened
have
to
it.
the relationship, the boyfriend, then the fiance, then the husband? It's like, okay, the man that would be like, wait a minute, you just skipped everything. That's not how that works.
And damn phone. I don't even want to pick it. I'm scared to look at it because it came out and if you're on if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry. It went fine. I'm gonna fix that. If you're on Instagram, you are it's this black screen. Y'all gotta wait for a second. Um, I did want to ask. So when you're dating someone, you're in a relationship. How do you balance work and family time, dating, friends? Like, is that a hard thing to juggle? For me, it was hard for me to balance my time equally.
Um, no, it's not hard for me to make a balance. Like I said, for my family, like we all live on the same side of town, so and like half of us live in the same area, so I can like literally go down the street and see like three different cousins and two aunts and uncles. So family is not a big thing. We make time for each other when we can. As far as work goes, it's my 9 to 5. It's the creative side that sometimes gets in the way. And any person I deal with, they have to kind of be supportive because sometimes I have them sleepless nights where I'm up in the middle of the night thinking of what to make for merch or writing something for another book or thinking of a creative project if I want to do a photo shoot or something. They got to be okay with that.
Exactly. I think sometimes people don't understand, especially when you are a creator or a creative, that like your mind, it's very hard to shut your mind off.
It is.
And that's something that I always struggle. Like I've had insomnia probably most of my life. And I still struggle with that now when it comes to my job is not somewhere that I want to be anymore. Like, I'd rather just be focused on what I feel is my purpose. And so it's a lot of times when I be up to like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just a bunch of ideas just floating around, but then I can't function, do anything else the next day until I have the correct amount of sleep. Compared to, 10 years ago, we could bounce back in 2, 3 hours. No, now I need about 6, 7, or I'm gonna be out here looking like I got narcolepsy. And then, like that's all I have at this point. Are you the only child?
By my mom, yes. By my dad, I'm 1 of 5.
Wonderful. All right, so mine my dynamic is a little bit different. But I wanted to ask this question because I feel like with our parents' generation, when it comes to giving advice in dating or situations, it's very different between males and females.
Mm-hmm.
If the standards are different, certain things are not applied, and like for example, within my own life, I feel like my dad is harder on me and my sister and who we're dating as opposed to who my brother dates.
The same as with my dad, as opposed to he's harder on me and my sister than he is with our brothers. Like with our brothers, he kind of doesn't care. But when it comes to me and my sister, he's like, well, who's this youngin? I need to meet him.
Why do you always be wanting to meet them off a jump?
But not just that. My brothers are like that. Even my younger brother. I'm like, I'm older than you by like 3 years. And he's like, still need to meet your man, make sure he's good for you. What? Like, I'm not grown.
But look, I'm listening. Listen, my little brother is about 12 years younger than me. Every the 2 times that he has met people, he's just kind of like, hey, that's all you're gonna get from me. Like, 'cause he wants to be the big brother, and so he's kind of like, nah, I gotta see what they about. But for me, I think sometimes I look at it as being unfair
Mhm.
because whatever is good for your son to do, your daughter should be able to do it. You need to have that same standard when it comes to all of your children.
But they not though.
They're not.
And I think society plays a role in that too. Because women are like, what was the rapper that said if a woman slept with more than what, 2 dudes in a year, or she had more than one man in a year, she was a hoe? I can't remember who that was. But it's like, okay, but this man, he can see with a different broad every day of the week. And y'all not gonna say nothing about that. Because to me, that's nasty behavior. But in a 12-month period, if I slept with 3 different dudes, how does that make me nasty? How does that make me a hoe?
Society has definitely
You know what I'm saying?
changed the way that people look at so many different things. But for me, it's like everybody is in the a point now where it shouldn't be no double standard, no judgment, or anything. And people just be having excuses. That's how I feel.
It still is though. Think about it in Congress and in politics, they're still trying to tell women what to do with their body.
Yeah, so I've heard that Texas,
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't it like they're outlawing abortion? Is that what it
After
is?
6 weeks. After 6 weeks.
and after 6 weeks, technically, is 2 weeks after a missed period.
And then on top of that, like what rape victims had no choice either. Like if someone was raped and impregnated, you're making this person carry this child to full term,
So,
knowing that the mental part of it, 'cause
because that's trauma.
right, that's a traumatic experience. And it's like, why are we still having this conversation? Roe versus Wade was passed, what, 50, 60 years ago. Why are we still having this conversation? Why are men still trying to tell women what to do with their body?
Especially because they don't have the same reproductive organs we do. They can't die while giving pregnancy.
Right. And that's another thing, even with women who have ectopic pregnancies, like that can kill them. So it's like, they have to get that child, that fetus or that embryo removed because the baby can't grow in the fallopian tube. That can actually kill the mother.
Mhm.
So it's like, why are we having this conversation? It's better things to worry about. Y'all done passed the Asian hate bill, but I'm still waiting as a Black person to be, where am I at? Where am I at?
For
Okay.
everybody that was rooting, like Friday was going to be our savior, I just want you to realize what the fuck is really going on. Was he better than the last person that we had in here? Yeah. But
It was a less than 2 years.
I was about to say, it's again the same situation with the first one. It was the lesser of two evils. And that really sucks because it puts us in a terrible position
terrible.
as Americans.
But hey, I said I wasn't going to talk about politics up here because I don't want to get canceled. You know, it's cancel culture.
Okay,
and shit
because
now.
they put me on the next time I said their president name, so I'm not
So,
gonna I got shut down.
as we get near our time, we can start winding down, and I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything that you want to plug. We appreciate you for coming out. It's been a wonderful time. Getting to talk about your book and your accomplishments.
Cause this is cool. I like this. So I have 2 books out on Amazon for those who got Prime, because I know how Prime works.
Okay.
You can just type in Tanisha Brianna and it should pop up. I have merch available, and I also have a collaboration with Dumb Chakras for a skincare line. So we're doing limited edition boxes where it's 2 body oils and 2 body butters, 2 different scents. One is naked, and that is lemongrass and lemon sugar, and then the other one is queen, and that's peach and vanilla. And those are limited edition. I think it's only like 15 boxes that'll be made.
Sounds like it smells delicious.
It does. And after those boxes are gone, that's it. So you can go to my Instagram or my Twitter at queen_poison. That is QUEEN_P0II S0N. And you can go to the link tree link in my bio, and that should take you to everything.
So I absolutely will be posting all this information on the YouTube page, Facebook, and on Instagram. He is going to be tagged so y'all can get all of the merchandise, the books, the oils, and the smoke mask. I want to purchase that. But again, thank you for coming. So we always,
And I'm dropping a new shirt for Pride Month. So it'll be a layered shirt, like the carry out logo, but it'll be rainbow colors. So that's coming out for Pride Month.
okay. So speaking of Pride, I'm still gonna have we're gonna go part 2. So we did a understanding, what I call the understanding session, where I had 2 of my friends come on who are in the LGBTQ community, and they opened up the discussion, and so that was a great experience. I will be having them on again to do part 2 because I didn't have the whole crew here. So that's gonna be exciting. Hopefully I can get them in. It's probably gonna be July now. Because
You booked and busy.
yes, booked to visit. I'm not even upset at it. I'm actually excited. I'm excited about all the guests that we're gonna have. We always close the show out with affirmation or a positive word. So we're gonna start with you, Miss Tanisha Brianna.
What you do today will affect how your next year comes out.
I can't even disagree with you. Well, the dopest co-host on the planet.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to say, don't be too hard on yourself. We all go through things. We all have issues. We all have our days. We all have our days where it feels like the end of the world is coming. And you wake up the next morning and you get a whole new 24 to start off. But don't be hard on yourself. Allow yourself to feel what you feel and go through what and grow through what you go through. Okay. So experience today that you felt like was a negative experience, feel the emotions, grow through what you go through, and don't be too hard on yourself. Oh my God.
Whoop, whoop. So before I go into my word of the week, I want to go over a couple of events. June 5th from 12 to 5, the Real Entrepreneurs of the DMV is going to be at unlimited events at the Den at 9400 Livingston Road, Suite 102, down in Fort Washington. Again, that is June the 5th from 12 to 5. There is so many events posted on my page. I want y'all to keep up with, because also on June the 5th, Pretty Pampered Queens is having a self-care drive. So that they're looking for clothes that are gently used or brand new, as well as personal hygiene items. You can contact their president, Meek, at 240-619-6719. And that will be down 98, I'm sorry, at 6202 Annapolis Road in Hyattsville. Also, next month, y'all know we are celebrating Juneteenth. Don't be out here doing shenanigans for July 4th, because Juneteenth is our time to celebrate. Annapolis always has like a big parade down there. So their parade is going to be on the 19th, and it's going to start at 12 at the City Docks, as well as they're going to have a festival at 935 Spa Road from 2 p.m. till dusk. The Chuck Brown Band will be down there on the 18th and the 19th. So y'all gonna hear me promoting that a lot. As well as if you didn't see on social media, we are doing promo slots for the month of June. $5, the cheapest that you're gonna get. So I can tell y'all, holler at me for the promo slots. There are gonna be a lot of events coming up, but June is gonna be a busy month. And so y'all see me posting it on social media. Now, my wind down and the word of the week would have to be, I didn't even think about this week. Um, I would probably have to say, don't let your past define you. Moving forward, tomorrow is always a new day. Whatever made you mad yesterday, whoever did you wrong, let it go. Stop letting things harvest and build up in your spirit. You're walking around all angry, let it go. It's not worth it. Um, And if you fell out with somebody and that person was sincerely your friend, and it's something that can be reconciled, reach out to them. Tomorrow is not promised. The DMV has experienced so much death. Um, since the pandemic has started, it seems like the gun violence rate has gone up. And so please, tell your loved ones that you love them. I've been more aware of that myself. Um, After losing my brother last year, making sure that whoever I leave, whoever I'm around, make sure that I say I have the kindest words and to let them know that how much I care about them and how much I love them. Um, so thank y'all for joining us
Thank
this
y'all.
week. We appreciate Miss Tanisha Brianna coming out.
Definitely, definitely.
And we will see y'all hopefully next week for Memorial Day.
Oh, y'all here with me.
Yeah, true. It's been like we having to cook out in the damn city.
Hello, the back of my knee.
Oh, and make sure y'all listen to Creative Minds New Album 301
Hello,
on all
T. Shout out to my
platforms.
big brother.
Down the street and not on road. Sounding like these all fuck control. Yes, the mile with the beats like Dre. Got his name, it's Dre. And love, we all way.
I can't wait for that to y'all get Saturday, ma'am. Bye. Once you get out this Instagram, how to get your bacon? All right, y'all, we done. See you can even break the video up this time. Y'all don't know. 'Cause it's gonna be on shenanigans. Yeah, I gotta. That was random. So once I get home and get settled, I'm gonna add all the information in the caption. Okay. There's some nice things here. I'll be in the tent. I was in the tent prior to this. word. So can you look at the Instagram on the, somebody still just the viewing? Hey, one viewer, see you later.